Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here. I got a great video for you today. I'm going to do a video on two cases, so it's going to kind of be like a split video. It's going to be on the Astro World Stampede with Travis Scott in Texas and Houston. It's also going to go on the parent who killed the boyfriend of his daughter after rescuing her after he sold her into slavery. Before I get started, please check me out on member programs, YouTube, Patreon. Check out merch. Check out Gangster Redemption, #1 book out there right now, going crazy. So check all that stuff out, and we will jump right into this video right now. A lot of people have been emailing me and in comments asking me to comment on the father who killed, we're gonna do this one first, the father that killed a kid named Sorensen who was 19 years old. He was dating his daughter, and the guy sold her into slavery. This is the story right now out of Washington, Spokane, Washington, and he sold her into slavery for $1,000. Well, the father found out. He's a 60-year-old man. I'm a 60-year-old man, and I have a daughter. So I'm gonna probably shock you a little bit on this one. And what he did was he threw him in a trunk, stabbed him 18 times, and hit him with a cinder block, and he killed him. He confessed to the thing. He's got $1 million bail, which again, I'm a believer in bail, and I'll tell you why on all cases. And on this case, I think this guy could get off. And I'll tell you why. You will get a sympathetic jury on this. Just like in prison, this guy will probably do some time. How much, I don't know if he doesn't get off, but nobody's going to go after this guy in prison. Why would they? We all had daughters. Our biggest fears in prison, when we were in prison, was something happened to our children. I mean, that's the biggest fear when you get older. And I was 40, I went in at 34, got out at 46. My daughter was 15 months old when I went to prison. I got out and she was 13. So my daughter, I often think about I used to sit in prison and say, what would I do if something happened to my daughter? I mean, I would sit there and plan what I would do to somebody. If somebody sold my daughter into slavery, and again, here's the tricky part on this case. We don't know the whole details, meaning, were they swingers? Did the girl want to go into sex? Who knows? We don't know yet. He did rescue, this is what the story says, he did rescue her. Rescuing, again, I don't know what that means. I think a lot's gonna come out. But if it's what it's saying all over the internet, I think this guy personally can get off, and here's why. When you sit a jury, all you need to hung a jury, it's called get a hang jury, is have one person say not guilty. Now, if the state charges him with, let's just say, second-degree murder, first-degree murder, premeditation, it actually can be that. Because the elements of a crime is what makes up a charge. Now, in the elements of this crime, he obviously premeditated, he went and found the guy, put him in a trunk, stabbed him, and actually how they found the body is a year later, October 22nd of this year, the car was parked, he abandoned the car, and it was a funny odor coming from the car. The cops investigated. Sure enough, they found his body in the trunk. By element-wise, there's a vast amount of charges that this man can be charged with, from first-degree murder probably, all the way down to manslaughter. Now, why I say manslaughter is there's always circumstances that can make a case manslaughter. How that works is if it's spur of the moment, if it's you didn't mean to kill him but something happened, an argument broke out, what he says is going to be a lot to do it. Now, he confessed, but I have not seen the charge sheet, they call it. So I don't know the actual charges yet. And I would think that the prosecution is going to be very cautious on this and charge him with something that they think a jury will convict on. And here's what I mean by that. If I was sitting on this jury and the only charge this guy was facing was first-degree murder, he's going to get the death penalty or life, I wouldn't convict him. I would find something in my mind to say, no, I'm not going to convict this guy, because this, to me, was a crime of either passion. I mean, this is your daughter. You got to remember, people don't get this in the court system. You could charge anybody whatever you want, but you are going in front of 12 people on a murder charge. Yeah, most people think all juries are 12 people. It's not true. Most juries are 6 people. In this case, it's going to be 12 because it's going to face life in prison if that's the charge they do. Now, they can charge him. If they're smart, they're going to charge him with an array of crimes to be the lowest. So in a jury pool or in a jury room, the people can get together and discuss what charge they want to make on this young person. So if they charge him with first-degree murder, second, and manslaughter, if I was on a jury, I wouldn't want to see this guy get a lot of time, maybe a little time, because we have to prevent vigilantes. Now, everybody out there who has a kid and watches my stuff, whether it's on the podcast, listens to that, or right here, know how I am. I think I would have done the same thing. I probably would have done a lot worse for him. I probably would have tortured him for a long time. I know that's crazy. I hate to say it, and I pray it never happens. And but to be totally honest, and you know how I am on this channel, I would have to think that I could picture me planning this guy's death after he did that to my daughter. Maybe now I would also try to find out the whole story before it happened. But to see that he got bail, he got $1 million bail. I don't know if it was posted, but he got $1 million bail. And as everybody knows on this channel, I believe everybody should get bail. I think El Chapo should get bail. Give him a bail of $50 million cash. If he posts the bail and he runs back to Colombia, he's on the run. We got $50 million, and we're not paying $30,000 a year to house El Chapo. He's on the run. What are you going to do? You're going to catch him again? Because somebody's filling his shoes anyway. So in my mind, everybody should get bail, and if they jump, they jump. I don't care what charge it is. Unless the guy's a total psychopath, you know he's going to go out and just fucking kill 20 people, of course you don't give him bail. See, in the United States, there's only 2 ways you don't get bail. And one is you're a flight risk, which I think is just bullshit. Take that one out of it. Hope he runs. Get the money. Let's be honest. Or, because there's no rehabilitation, or you're a danger to the community. Now that one is a little bit different, and I get it, because you have to weigh how, if he left that room right there, would he kill somebody, would he do? Listen, they could put all the things on him he wants. He gets out, he's got a $50 million cash bail. What do you care? You're getting $50 million and you're not charging this guy 30. But this guy, let's get back to the case with Eastman. 60 years old. He's got $1 million bail. So that shows that, listen, they don't think he's another threat to somebody else, and they don't think he's a flight risk. And if they do, they're not caring. Secondly, he's going to get a jury. If he's got a good lawyer, he's going to get a jury that he's going to get somebody, one person on that jury, to be sympathetic towards what his case, how he fights it, temporary insanity, extenuating circumstances. And then what can happen is, let's just say they convict him on whatever they convict him on. What comes next is, they call it a PSR, pre-sentence report. In his pre-sentence report, he has no record. All that's on there. No record. He's clean. He's a good citizen. That comes on there. So there's a scale in the PSR. It's called pre-sentence report. His prior offenses and his crime and his prior offenses. He has no prior offenses, so he's going to have a 1. Now he goes down to here, whatever the charge is, and then it goes over. Now let's say he's just facing I'm going to give a number, 120 months, which is 10 years. The judge in this case can, what they do, downward depart. Downward depart means they think there's extenuating circumstances. They bring an expert like myself in, how jail is not going to rehabilitate this person. He doesn't need the rehabilitation, it's only going to get worse. I've done this for many people. It's called sentencing experts. So we give a judge a reason to downward depart on this case. Now, you never do it for upward, because the defense hires people like myself who's an expert in jail and rehabilitation. So I get on the stand, they qualify you as an expert, and then you say why or not. I do that with people who are in jail who are coming back for resentencing to see if they are really rehabilitated or not. So in this case, I just think this man has a chance, 1, to have a very light sentence, which could be whatever his sentence is going to be, and then he gets downward depart. And in the state of Washington, if they have a bail, or if they have a 1/3 or any other issues like that, it's not a federal case. This is not a federal case. I think he has a good shot of getting out in a decent amount of time and still having a life. Yes, even at 60. Although I guarantee that guy didn't give a shit. He did it because he says, I don't care about my life. That girl was my life. I will fucking kill the guy because he did it. I get it, and I think everybody out there is going to get it. But just I want you to think one thing. If we all thought that way, we could have a crazy system of justice out there, and we could have vigilante justice. You know, it's very easy for me to say if it was my daughter or if it was your son. Yes, that's the way we are. But think about if we had a bunch of vigilantes out there and somebody kills somebody in the wrong sense. He really didn't do it, doesn't know. There's a lot of issues that could come about, and we have the Wild West again. So that's why we don't have vigilante justice. That's why I support good policing. We all know that. Bad policing, I slam. Good policing, I support. So that's what's going to happen with that case. All right, on the next case we're going to do, everybody, It's the big stampede at Astroworld in Houston on the Travis Scott concert where Drake was there and other people were there. 50,000 people. You know what it really reminded me? This has happened before. It happened in the 1970s in a Who concert. It happened in a couple other concerts. And so it's not unheard of. I get what this concert was about. Love concerts. I don't blame Travis Scott at all or the people. In fact, he's feeling very bad about it. And I feel bad for him. He didn't know what was going on. There were security people all around. Obviously, they're supposed to take care of cases like people who get hurt, people get sick in concert, people drop. You know, you go to raves, they used to be on ecstasy and dope and everything else, what happens, and before you know it, people are passing out. And it's not like you can stop a whole concert if you see a few people pass out. You can't do that. He didn't know people were dying at that time. Now, think about this though. How do you get trampled to death? Now, we had it from a 14-year-old to a 27-year-old, various sizes, women and men. Obviously, there's something you can do. If you're ever in a stampede, you put your feet as a boxer would put his feet, and you put your hands like this so you can protect your windpipe and your chest from being compressed. That's how you die, and that's how you fall. And that was from an expert I was talking to about this case. So there is ways that it could be prevented, but I think it could be prevented. If you've seen some of the videos of this, and I'll show a few right here.
Hey, tell them to over here. Hey, y'all over here.
Look at that. They're letting these people. They had horse people that couldn't stop. So obviously, security at this event, they say was enough, but obviously it wasn't. And I'm sure there's a lot of investigations going on in event security and people of that nature that have to put that. They know what his concerts are like, and good for him. Again, it's not his fault. You know, it's an energy concert. It's stuff where people are going crazy. I used to go to those concerts in the 70s in Central Park, New York, and there would be 250,000 people there. But there was nowhere to rush the stage. That was all off with police all around the stage. And you had to be areas, and they had speakers everywhere. So you would be out in the middle, so you didn't have to rush the stage. Yes, they had screens even back then, and people would look at what's going on in the event. But they had a massive security presence of NYPD and private security. In fact, in those days, and even today, most of these events have undercover people who go into the events. Not so much to catch a kid smoking joint, doing coke, whatever the stupid shit they do, who cares? It's more for riots or groups of people maybe with a gun. In today's place, they do have setups that, mass casualty events, they call it. This could have been a mass. In fact, it was. You had 8 people die. 300 people were seen at the venue, and another 30 people went to the hospital, and there's somebody in the hospital. One young person had a heart attack. He was squeezed. And it kind of reminded me of what happened in January 6th. Do you remember when that cop was getting crushed, his arm in the door by the wave of people? And it's not like people are just saying, let's crush that guy's arm, or let's crush people that get into the stage. But when you have a mass of people, it's a wave. It's just an energy wave that can't be stopped by people putting up arms or something like that. You can't stop 50,000 or 20,000, 10,000 people moving at once. It's a stampede, In fact, in the Old West, that's how they would run through a town, or that's how they would go knock down stuff. They would stampede a bunch of cows and bulls. You can't stop them. Obviously, they're 1,000-pound animal, but even human beings, you can't. And it's a shame that people did. Here's another thing you could do if you're at an event like this. First of all, know your exit strategy. Know what would happen if shots were fired. You all remember in Las Vegas when some wacko come from a window in a hotel and started shooting down at a concert. It was a country concert, and he started shooting. I think he killed 49 people of some sort. It just was unloading shots. Know where you're at all times. Know your exit strategies. Let me tell you, when I go to a hotel, I actually know how to get out of that hotel if there's a fire or something goes on, where the exit is, where the elevator is, because you might not be able to use the elevator. You don't want to be in a smoky building and not know where that exit is. Just know it. It's not like you have to plan and sit down and write. Put it in the back of your mind, how would I would get out of this? If you're in a concert that doesn't have seating and it's an open air concert, they call them, know if you're on the side of the stage, which is the quickest way to get out. Go forward or go to the right, maybe the left. You'll see where it is. Understand that. Yes, people want to get to the middle of the stage, get the best view in the concert. Well, maybe forward might be the best. Get around that thing, do something, figure out your exit strategy. And if you're not able to execute that, don't go to that area. I feel bad. He's a 14-year-old kid, a little baseball player. I saw him, cute kid. What a shame. Goes to a concert and he doesn't come home. Who believes that should happen? This event, this Astro World event, should not prevent people from going to concerts. It should not put a break on things. I know Travis Scott canceled his next concert. I get it, please. That guy's going through a lot. He's feeling he's somewhat responsible. I'm not, so I don't think he is. In fact, I felt bad for him when I heard him on TV. Because this hurts him. He feels like he could have prevented it, and he couldn't. He actually had concern on that stage. If you see it, asked something what was going on, and he has people around watching this. There's security all around. They're looking out. Nobody came up and said he better cancel his concert. We're having a riot out here. Nobody said that. His concerts are known for. Listen, I've been to concerts where people are being waved and on top of people, and everybody's having a good time, and that's what it looked like. Not those people were actually passed out or unconscious and it were being passed back to medical. He doesn't know that. He's not something in his ear saying, let's do that. He's wanting to put on a great show for all these people who come out. And I get that. So I really feel bad for him. He actually got the key to the city in Houston because he does a lot for charity and he does a lot for the people of Houston. So I feel bad for this guy. And I don't want people to get excited about, well, we need to, stop events like that. I mean, I hear that when I talked about the Ruggs case a couple of days ago, and I said, I hope this guy gets his life back on track, does a couple of years. Maybe he could be the biggest advocate for drunk drivers. But I don't want people to also think, wow, we have to put more rules. Sometimes the more regulations and rules we put on things and not use common sense is when things happen. I don't want there to be this big policies now, this has to happen, and we take away from what young people are. Because young people were there, young people are going to be running this country. They have to understand, yes, security and how they set it up and how they put it. Maybe the company wasn't ready because they did have a problem at this event venue once before. So maybe it's that. Maybe they need to do a better job of that, maybe screening the security people or the management and see what their strategies are for that. Again, when they plan major events like this, there should be a strategy meeting with the police chief, the city officials, and the fire marshals and the fire chiefs. And I don't know if they did. And if they did, I would like to hear what they had to say about this, because they shouldn't rubber stamp something just like that. It should be done in the right way. Well, with that said, everybody, I really thank you again. Keep the comments coming. I'm going to answer these comments. It's a double. This is the first time we did this. We did a twofer, I call it. We talked about two events because they're in the news. Don't forget my podcast every Monday, every Friday. It now comes out Monday afternoons and Friday afternoons. I'm doing them that day. So it's got a lot of fun. And I can do the news. I can do a whole bunch of stuff. And you guys are giving me great feedback on the podcast. Keep that coming. Answer, like it, pass it on. Please push this all over the place. Subscribe if you have not subscribed, and please put your notifications on. Have a great day, everyone. Make a good choice and help somebody every day. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.